Every night, my parents locked the basement door. When I was 16, I found out why. My name is Mark, and this is the story of my friend's brother. So, if you're for something that's scary, creepy, then I think you should watch the video. Every night, my parents would lock the basement door. I never really thought much about it when I was younger. It was just part of our nightly routine. But now, looking back, I realize how strange it was. Right now, I'm 22 years old, but this story takes place when I was 16, the year I finally learned the truth. When I was a kid, especially after my 12th birthday, I started to notice something odd. Every time my parents would lock the basement door, I'd hear scratching. At first, I thought it was just some animal or maybe the wind, just like my parents always said. But as time went on, the scratching got louder. It became different, scarier. By the time I was 14, the noises had changed. It wasn't just scratching anymore. There was banging, loud, angry banging, that would wake me up in the middle of the night. I got so freaked out, I ran to my parents' room one night. They seemed kind of tired, like they were used to it. My dad didn't even say a word. He just grabbed some raw meat from the fridge, went to the basement door, and slid it underneath. I was too shocked to say anything. I wanted to ask why, but they just went back to the bed like nothing happened. 2 years went by, and the noises kept getting worse. I started having nightmares. I couldn't focus on anything because my mind always drifted to that locked door, the scratching, the banging. What could be behind it? I had to know. The opportunity came right before my 16th birthday. My parents had planned a trip to Florida. They were going to be gone for a whole week, and I would be home alone. As they left, my mom looked at me very seriously and said, "Whatever you do, don't open the basement door. No matter what, even if you hear noises, even if you hear someone calling, do not open it." I nodded and promised. I really did. But after 4 days of being alone, I couldn't stop thinking about it. The sounds kept coming, even when they weren't home. The scratching, the banging. I knew I had to see what was down there. So on the night before they came back, I decided to do it. I waited until it was late, almost midnight. I stood in front of the basement door, trembling, my heart pounding in my chest. I told myself to stop, but I couldn't. I had to know. I closed my eyes, turned the handle, and pulled the door open. What I saw, I still can't forget it. It was something, someone. His eyes locked on mine, and in that moment I screamed louder than I ever have in my life. He started laughing, this horrible, creepy laughter that echoed all around me. I turned and ran out the house as fast as I could, hearing the bangs and scratches behind me. I grabbed my phone and dialed 911, trying to explain, but I was too scared to make sense. They finally called my parents. When they called me back, I'll never forget what they said. "Go back inside. Get the raw meat. Give it to him." I didn't understand, but I did it. I walked back, shaking, holding the meat in my hand. The creature, the person, looked at me, gave me the most horrifying look, and snatched it. He went back into the basement, and I slammed the door shut, locking it as fast as I could. When my parents came home, I demanded to know what was going on. They sat me down and told me everything. "Honey, that was your brother. He was born different. He didn't like normal food. He only wanted raw meat. We tried to help him, but it wasn't enough. He got angry. He became too dangerous. So we had to keep him locked in the basement. It's for his safety, and for ours." I was speechless. My brother living in the basement this whole time? I promised I would never open that door again. But just as I said that, I heard a loud crash from the basement, looked toward the door, and standing there was my brother, and his hand was a knife. Like and subscribe if you would like more scary stories like this.